Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I forgot to film an intro at the beginning of this video, so I'm just gonna film one now. Also, just some disclaimers, or I guess some background information. So basically this video was me like reading books by celebrities, and I didn't do it in like a week or something. I just did it over time, and I started Spare in April, and it is now, when I'm filming this today, October. So it definitely took me a bit, about 6 months, but it took me a really long time to read Spare. I read the other two books like in a short amount of time, and I start this video when I'm like halfway through Spare, probably less than halfway, and I read it a lot during the summer, and I would go on walks a lot and read it or listen to it. You'll see. All right, to the video. Okay, so I'm planning on going on a walk, and I'm going to listen to Spare on my walk. That's like my favorite time to listen to it. When I'm like walking or when I'm traveling, like on the plane, since it's downloaded, it's the perfect thing for me to just listen to for hours. I'm really getting through it. I'm reading it definitely slowly but surely, but I have 4 hours and 40 minutes left. And I got to like the really good part because he goes in chronological order from like when he was a little kid to all the way up till now, I presume. He just met Megan in the book, and so they're like hitting it off. They went to Africa, and I love them so much because they're so sweet, and they really just have like he's describing how they got to know each other and all these like little tiny things that happened that showed him that she was the one and stuff, and it's just really, really sweet. And it's like, it's weird to read because I'm so used to reading romance novels, and so to hear him talking about his wife and for them to like, I have to register that they're real people, which is just kind of weird to think about, but they're so sweet, and so I'm really enjoying reading or listening, I guess, to them and to how they're getting to know each other and how they're gonna deal with, you know, the press and all of that. So I've definitely gotten to like the good part, in my opinion. So I'm excited to keep reading. I also watched the like limited series on Netflix, Harry and Meghan, and so it's like a lot of what he's saying aligns with that TV show, so it's cool. Like I can like kind of picture them saying it and also listening to him say it. It's like it's giving me more info, and so it makes me think of that. Hey guys, it is much later now, but I was editing this video and I could not find the footage of me talking about Spare. Like, I remember it, I was sitting in a hotel room and I was talking about Spare because I had just finished it, and I cannot find that footage anywhere, so I think it accidentally got deleted. So I'm just going to tell y'all about Spare now. I rated it a 3.5, and this is my Goodreads review. I thought it was too long and there were some unnecessary chapters, but I enjoyed reading about Harry's childhood and his relationship with his family. So that's like a short way of saying it, but it is a long book. And so the reason why it's a 3.5 and not higher is that there were just some parts that seemed unnecessary, and then also he talks a lot about like the military and his experience in the military, and that part I didn't find as interesting because I couldn't really find it relatable, and I'm not as interested in the military as like other parts of his life. And then there were like some unnecessary chapters, like if you've seen my, when did I read it? In my August like reading wrap-up video, I kind of talked about this briefly, but if you've read it, you know there's like one chapter where he goes into specifics about like a medical issue that he had that just felt very unrelated, and I didn't need that chapter. But besides that, I really did like it. I really liked the first part where he talks about his childhood, and he talks about growing up in a boarding school and his relationship with his brother William at a young age. And then I also liked the ending part where he meets Megan, and he talks about like the things that ultimately led up to them leaving the palace and moving out of Britain. And I found those things really interesting. Those were my thoughts on Spare. I have finally decided the book that I'm going to read next, and I'm ready to start it for books written by celebrities. I'm going to read the half of it by Madison Beer. This is her memoir, and it looks pretty short, but I'm very excited. And then I also am going to start listening to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, I think it is. I think that's her name. So I'll probably listen to that like intertwined while I read this. So that's the plan. I think I'm going to start this today. Alright, so yesterday I started the half of it. Today I started I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, but first we can talk about the half of it for a sec. I got to page 34. It's really good. This is a really short book. I didn't realize it was this short, but it's really good. Right now, she kind of does the story like like from like her childhood to now, I'm thinking. At least we're in her childhood right now. So she's kind of talking about some of the events, and it's really well done and well written, because she talks a lot about the effects of like Hollywood and the effects of, you know, influencers and YouTube and TikTok and like how viral people are getting on like our future generations. And she pulls like some good data and some good sources. I like it. It's given me like a lot of empathy for her, because I didn't know much about her, but it's really interesting. And then for I'm Glad My Mom Died, I just finished chapter 2. She like starts the story off very strongly, and it immediately made me interested. And this is pretty short too. It's only like a 6-hour audiobook. So I think I'll be able to read these pretty quickly. But I'll probably continue reading them some more today, and I'll let you know my thoughts. Hi guys, I feel like I haven't updated you in a while, so sorry, I'm trying to like set y'all up. So I thought I'd give y'all a little update about the books I'm reading. So I haven't been reading the half of it as much, just because I've been focused. I've been listening to I'm Glad My Mom Died like a ton, but I'm on like page 66 in the half of it, and it's really good. She's saying some like really deep things, like she's talking about things that I feel like are so taboo and like haven't been talked about, and I've never read. Like obviously these are some of my first memoirs that I've read, but I've just like, it's really interesting to hear this perspective about like child fame and, you know, like influencers and being in LA, and it's really interesting. And there's honestly a lot of parallels between I'm Glad My Mom Died and the half of it, since they were both like child actors. I don't know if Madison Beer was a child actor as much as, you know, like a child performer, but I'm Glad My Mom Died is really good. The half of it's good too, but I've just been listening to this more. I'm more than halfway. I'm on chapter 54, and it is so interesting, and so I'm listening to it, and she's the one narrating it, which makes it so much more interesting as well, which that was something I also really appreciated about Spare. Her childhood was so messed up, and the way she describes it, like at the time she thought like all of these things were normal, you know, like she thought this was just like the way it worked, but she had such a messed up childhood. And, you know, she talks about Nickelodeon, and like weird things that went on there. Where I am right now, she's like an adult. She's like 21, I think, and she is on her like own spin-off show of iCarly. It's been nice because I can just listen to it wherever I go, you know, which there's something to be said about listening to books because they're just so much more convenient. Like I've just been listening to this nonstop. I'm kind of preparing for tears because everyone talks about how they cry when they read this book, but I'm wondering if maybe if I listen to it, I'm less likely to cry. I don't know what that logic is, but maybe I'm more likely to cry. I don't know, but something about reading words on a page, it's like you're so into it that like I feel like it's easier to cry. I've never cried from listening to an audiobook, but who knows, maybe this will be the first. So I'll keep y'all updated, but I'm probably going to continue listening to it. Today is Sunday. It's October 1st. I did not read a lot of books in September, so I've decided to just combine September and October. But I'm hoping that like listening to books, like maybe I'll listen to more books in October, and that'll help like add to my like Goodreads quota, because I am 9 or 10 books behind. I think I'm 10 books behind, and so I might have to lower my reading goal, but we'll see. Hey guys, I have continued to listen to I'm Glad My Mom Died, and then I've read a little bit more of the half of it, but not a lot. I'm kind of reading that one more slowly, and I'm on chapter 80 in I'm Glad My Mom Died. I only have 40 minutes left in the audiobook, so I think I could probably finish it tomorrow. but it's really good. I don't want to spoil it, but like a ton has happened. She has gone through so much, and I have so much respect for her. And I'm kind of getting to the end where she's healing, and I think she describes the healing process really well, and that it is very slow and it is not linear. And she talks a lot about denial about certain things. I'm going to keep listening to it a little bit tonight, and then I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I have finished both I'm Glad My Mom Died and the half of it. Let me get it. So I finished I'm Glad My Mom Died this morning, and then I finished this like at school. And first, let's talk about the half of it first. I liked it. It's very short, just so you know, it's 150 pages. But it did take me a while. To me, it kind of felt like half memoir, half self-help. Like there was a lot of self-help and a lot of Madison's advice kind of intertwined into it, which I wasn't expecting. But if you like self-help, you might like this book. I'm saying like every 5 seconds. I liked it. I think her life is really interesting, and I think she had a lot of great advice. But because there was a lot of advice, I think me personally, I would have preferred if it was more plot and less advice. But I think that this is like very accurate to who she is, and it depicts her experience well. And I think it's amazing that she does give advice in this. I just didn't know that when I picked it up. I rated it a 3.5, so I liked it, but I did like the pages of advice. I did kind of get like a little bit bored. But I think she has an amazing story, and I'm really glad that she told it, and I feel like I have this new perspective. Not that I like hated her before going into this, but what's really cool about memoirs is you always gain some perspective on how this person viewed things or what really happened, you know, because the internet and social media twist things so much. And so it was really interesting to hear all these events in her words. And I learned a lot about her, and I'm actually listening to her music right now. So I would recommend it if you like self-help books. If you are a Madison Beer fan, you'd probably love the book. And what's really cool, well, 2 things that are really cool is, one, she responds to like fan questions, I guess, so questions from fans. Okay, so right here is an example of, this is like a question that one of her fans asked, and then for like 2 to 3 pages she answers it, which is really, really cool. And then also, here, this page also has it, there are journal prompts all throughout it. So definitely next time I'm journaling, I'm going to pull this book out. I think that was really cool. I've never seen that in a memoir before. So I'm definitely going to keep this close to my journal so that I can get some journal inspiration. But yeah, there's a ton of them. So both of those elements I thought were really cool. And it's just a very cool cover. And then I think this is her younger self. I'm really happy. I'm like discovering more memoirs. I'm in my memoir era, and I really love that. And I'm excited to read more because it's really interesting. And I'm not big on nonfiction, but I really like and enjoy memoirs, which are nonfiction. And so I feel like I'm learning when I'm reading these. And the events that happen in these people's lives, I have to remind myself, I'm like, this is real. This isn't fiction. This isn't made up. These people had to go through these traumatic events, and it's, yeah, I'm always like surprised, like I have to really register that while I'm reading. Okay, so then I'm Glad My Mom Died. I listened to that on my phone, and I really liked it. I rated it a 4.5. It was so good. They're just her life is insane. So many things happen. There was another plot point at the very end that she didn't touch on for very long, but it really shocked me, and I was not expecting that. And I found it really interesting. She talks about her relationship with Miranda, which, like, the way she talks about Nickelodeon and the shows, I would have thought, like, that really nothing good came out of them, but her friendship with Miranda did, and I thought it was really cool reading about how close they got. She talks about these past events as if it was herself in those past events, which it really creates like a story, because she's not saying like, oh, back then I didn't know this, but I would grow up to whatever. She's in that moment. When she's talking about when she's 8 years old, she's 8 years old, and it's her feelings and opinions and emotions when she was 8. And so it really creates this buildup of all of her thoughts, and then there's kind of this transition point at the very end where she's healing and she's realizing that she was in denial about some things, and then you as a reader are like you're realizing things, you know, like all these red flags that like didn't come together until later. It's just really, really interesting. And also she because she's in that perspective of whatever age she was, it really demonstrates like how much she thought all these things that were going on at a young age, like especially with her mom and with her family, how they were normal, when like you as the reader, as you're, or listener, as you're listening, you're like, that is really weird, or that's not normal, or that's really selfish, or that's disrespectful. But she in the moment isn't feeling any of those things. She has like a positive lens about everything. Definitely wanted to cry. Probably if I was reading it, I would have cried, because I feel like you're more immersed, because I'm usually doing something while I'm listening to a book, you know, like folding my laundry, whatever. Would recommend the audiobook though, because you get to hear her voice and it makes it so much more real. And I really liked it. This was definitely my favorite memoir I've read so far, which all the memoirs I've read, I believe, were in this video. No, I think I read a Trevor Noah memoir, which was really good as well. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. I had such a good time, and I learned so much about all of these different celebrities. I definitely, out of all three, I would recommend I'm Glad My Mom Died, which you probably have already read it because it was it's very hyped up and everyone loves it. But in case you haven't, I'm probably the 12th person to tell you that you should read it. And comment down below your favorite book written by a celebrity. And it doesn't have to be a memoir. I'll see y'all next time. Bye guys.